Hi, I'm Janie Chandler, and I'm coming to you live from Ashland, Oregon, the mythical Ashland, Oregon, birthplace of Eden Energy Medicine. And I am an advanced Eden Energy Medicine practitioner, also a founding faculty member of the Eden Method programs. And I'm nested here in my home. This is my home office, nested here in my home with my husband, Joseph, and my adult daughter, Autumn. And the three of us are staying cozy and well fed and trying to do the best to stay present in the present moment during this crazy, unprecedented time of humanity. So I'd really love to share some energy medicine with you. I know that you have, well, some of you have been watching these live Facebook Live Energy Medicine tutorials, little gatherings, and I'm really happy to be part of that. I want to take a moment actually before I go to take a breath. I don't know how many of you are with us right now live, but I can feel you out there. I know that this Eden Energy Medicine community is staying connected. I know that we have the opportunity to really help ourselves be grounded. Oh, that was a dog that just opened the door. Excuse me. Out you go. She likes to just burst the door open. Sorry, I didn't introduce you to her. Anyway, so I am really happy to have this opportunity to join with all of you in doing some energy medicine together to help all of us just be as present as we possibly can be with each other and particularly with ourselves. I think that that is the greatest opportunity that we have right now in this, like I say, unprecedented time in humanity, is to get really present with ourselves and to understand ourselves as energy beings even more than we ever have before. So what I'd like to talk about today, and I know that there are people who are joining us from a lot of different levels of understanding of energy medicine. For some of you, what I'm going to share is going to be a repeat. For others, it's going to be new. But what I really want to talk about today are meridians and how we can help to facilitate the movement of qi in our bodies through the meridians. So the first thing that I want to talk about is how the way that the Chinese look at the body is with the body in this dynamic, I'm alive position. And what I think this is really important to understand the difference between the anatomy of the body when it's open and arms are up and front and back both. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second, as opposed to the Western medicine model, which is kind of the cadaver on the table. I see little X's over the eyeballs. This is not a posture of vitality and of life moving. This is the posture of vitality and of life moving. And what this model describes is how the yin energy rises up from the surface of the planet, up through our yin meridians, these channels that carry this qi up through our body, all the way up and off of the fingertips. The yin energy is always reaching for the yang. And from the heavens, from the cosmos, the yang energy comes down, also entering through the fingertips, entering through points on the head, and then moving down the back of the body and off of the feet. So there's this constant movement of the rising yin and of the falling yang. And as these two energies move, look at me, I'm doing Qigong by accident here, but this is really describing the way that these energies move. The yin coming up the front, the yang going down the back. So what I want to do today is really focus on that meridian system and focus on a few specific points along the meridian so that we can really make space for energy to move. Because if you have been studying Eden Energy Medicine, you know that energy wants to move and that it needs space to move and that it has specific pathways that it wants to move on. So that meridians are one of those specific pathways. And what we can do to help that energy is to make space for that energy to move. So what else did I want to say before we get started? I'll keep talking as we go. But what I want to do is open the beginning and the end points of all of these meridians. So that's the first thing we're going to do. So we're going to do a little bit of self-massage. And while I'm at it, I ought to say that I am a big fan of working with fascia. I came to this work as a massage therapist. And so I really specialize in addressing energy in the fascia. So I love to teach people how to touch their bodies in such a way that they can release the fascia and allow energy to move more. So we're going to open the beginning and the end points in our head, our hands, and our feet. Then we're going to work a little bit around the diaphragm and the belt flow to help keep energy open in the torso so that that yin can move up unimpeded and the yang can move down unimpeded. All right, well, let's start. I'm going to take my, I'm actually going to take my hair down and you can join me. We're going to just start with a crown pull. So lacing your fingers up, I'm going to actually come up so you can see, pushing in at the center and pulling down. Use quite a bit of pressure. And as you're going to move back with each pull, pushing in, pulling out, moving down and back. I'll turn around so you can see the back of my head. And I'm going to pause for half a second because I forgot to say something really important. And that's about breathing. So I really want to be sure that I'm breathing. I really want to be sure that you're breathing really deeply and fully. And with this little protocol that we're doing, your breath is going to be super important for keeping the energy moving. So we're going to go ahead and do some more crown pull, pushing in, pulling apart, using your breath. Take a breath in, push in, pull apart, really make space in your head. Breath in, push, pull apart. And now let's wiggle our ears, really pull on your ears. You can pull down on your ears, you can pull out on your ears, you can pull up on your ears, just wiggle them. And let's finish this crown pull with a little smoothing of triple warmer. Who couldn't use that? Fingertips at your temple. Breath in, push up, exhale. Let's hang on the shoulders a little bit. Breath in, exhale, drag forward. Shake that off. Let's follow by just sweeping down, triple warmer, down the back of the arm, off of the ring finger. Let's do that a couple times. Breath in, exhale. All right, now I want to do a little bit more specifically on the face because I want to get the beginning and end points of the meridians on the face. On the face we have yang meridians. So let's start in the middle of the eyebrow and just squeeze your eyebrow. This is the beginning of bladder meridian. I'm going to just kind of squeeze and wiggle. And then I'm going to pinch my eyebrows and take a breath in. Drag the thumbs across the eyebrow to the outer edge of the eyebrow and now wiggle a little bit. You could even pinch or twist. This is the end of your triple warmer meridian. We're going to, there's also gallbladder right there at the temple. So again, pinch, twist a little bit. Come down to the opening of your ear. Rub, pinch, twist. Underneath the eye, this is the beginning of stomach meridian. We're gonna, actually we could go ahead and tap, that'll help us get grounded too. Pinch, twist, opening stomach meridian. What have we got? Bladder, triple warmer, gallbladder, small intestine, stomach, and large intestine. So you can rub underneath your nose. Gosh, I probably should have warned you. We're touching our faces. Oh my gosh. I hope you washed your hands before we started. All right. So we've got the head now. Let's go ahead and use our knuckles and rub along the side. We're going to rub the end of spleen meridian here. And up on the side of the breast with your knuckles, you're going to get the beginning of circulation sex, or the pericardium. And here we're going to rub with our knuckles and get the beginning of lung. And if you can get up underneath your scapula a little bit in the armpit, give a wiggle there, and you're getting the beginning of your heart meridian. All right, now we're gonna do hands. Let's start by twisting the wrist. You can twist the wrist back and forth. You can bend your wrist forward. You can bend your wrist backward. You wanna you're really creating heat here so that you're making space for the energy to move through the fascia. You can also give a little push on these 3 points on the inside of the wrist. These are source points for yin meridians. And we can do the same thing on the back. We're gonna massage in between the thumb and the pointer finger. We're gonna massage here right at the wrist in line with the ring finger. And we're gonna massage here on the pinky side of the hand. So no, those are 3 yang. I'm not going to go into too much detail about which ones right now, but these are 3 yang meridians, and these are all called source points. Source points are points on a meridian that directly source the organ that that meridian is associated with. So when we push this one, for instance, this is the source point for lung meridian. So this is a good one right now for all of us to just give that guy a little pinch, rub, tapping, whatever you'd like. And I just include all 3 of them on the front, but that'll give your lungs just a little extra boost. So now we're gonna do the gates, pushing in. This is the space between each of your metacarpals. Pushing in, breathing, massaging deeply between each of these guys. Might feel a little sore. And then you can use your thumb to stretch and open the palm. I like to put my thumb in between each one of the fingers to open the webbing space between. And now we're going to twist and pull energy off of each finger. There are beginning and end points on the fingertips of the hand. So when we twist and snap energy off of the pinky, we're affecting small intestine and heart meridian. When we twist and snap energy off the ring finger, we're affecting triple warmer. When we twist and snap energy off of the middle finger, we're affecting the pericardium or circulation sex meridian. Pointer finger, twisting, snapping the energy off. This helps to open the large intestine meridian. And with the thumb, twisting, snapping the energy off, we're opening the end point for the lung meridian. Let's do the same thing on the other hand. Twisting the fascia of the wrist back and forth, bending your wrist forward so that you can stretch the fascia on the back of your wrist, bending your wrist backwards so that you can affect the fascia on the front of the wrist. Let's do a little bit of a massage. This is the source point for lung. This is the source point for pericardium. This is the source point for heart. You can turn around, and in between the webbing of the big, the thumb and the pointer finger, you can rub in there. That is your source point for large intestine. Down here in line with the ring finger is your source point for triple warmer. And on the side of the hand, the pinky side, is your source point for small intestine. Let's open the palm with the thumb, pushing in and rubbing in between each finger to open up that webbing, pushing in deeply, dragging up and down, opening the space between the metacarpals. Are you breathing? I'm breathing. I actually couldn't believe how nervous I was to do this. So I'm breathing. All right, let's twist the energy off and snap it off the end and shake that off. That's clearing both heart and small intestine. With the ring finger, we're massaging, snapping the energy off. That's opening the end of triple warmer, or the beginning of triple warmer. And here is opening the end of pericardium, circumflex. Pointer finger opens the beginning of large intestine, and lung, thumb is lung. It's opening the end of the lung channel. All right, shake those guys off. Just really shake them off. We're going to go to the feet now. I'm going to tilt this down a little bit so hopefully you can see my foot. We're going to do the same thing around the ankle that we did on the wrist. You're going to twist the fascia. And I like to rotate my ankle. You want to be sure to get behind, rub a little bit behind your ankle bone. That's your source point for kidney. Twist the fascia on the top of the foot. Give a little rub on the outside of the foot. That's your source point for bladder. I like to push my thumb between each toe, opening the webbing between the toes. Let's see, on the top, or right there in the ankle, we also have gallbladder and stomach source points. Stomach is actually on top of the foot there. What am I missing? And in between the big toe, we can go ahead and massage deeply in the gates there. You're getting the liver source point there. On the outside, or I should say on the medial side of the big toe, we can rub there for the source point for spleen. I like to pinch and twist that one for some reason. I guess probably because I need it. Going back to the metacarpals, pushing in and rubbing up and down. I suspect I'm probably going pretty fast for a lot of you, but you'll have the opportunity to watch this a second time, I hope. All right, I'm working my way along through the metacarpals again, or tarsals. These are metatarsals. Pushing in, rubbing up and down. And now we're going to do the same thing with the toes that we did with the fingers. I like to start with the little toe. Twisty, 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 pop. That's what I think it sounds like. Moving to the next toe. Twisty, 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 pop. The first toe, the pinky toe, that's your bladder meridian. So we are clearing the end of the bladder meridian. That ring toe, that's your gallbladder meridian. So we're clearing the end of gallbladder meridian. Your middle toe is kind of a neutral toe, but it's really associated with kidneys. So that's helping to make sure the kidney energy is moving. Your pointer toe, if you will, the one right next to your big toe, twisting, twisting, and pop. That is the end point of your stomach meridian. And your big toe, you get a lot of bang for your buck when you do the twisty, twisty, twisty pop, because we've got both liver and spleen that begin on the big toe. All right, let's move to the other foot, shall we? Taking that breath. Twist around your ankle, creating a little bit of friction in the fascia. Oh, I don't know if you can hear the dog barking, but she's gotten excited about something out there. Let's rub behind your ankle bone. That's where your kidney source point is. Come down along the side of the foot. We'll go ahead and rub that spleen source point while we're here. Let's rub the outside edge of the foot to get the bladder source point. And while we're there, we'll rub a little bit on the ankle. This is up in line with that ring toe. In the ankle there is your gallbladder source point. And then on the top of the foot, you got stomach in line with the pointer toe. And just lateral of the big toe, you've got your liver. Thank you. I heard somebody say it for me out loud. You've got your liver source point. And that's where I'm going to start working on my gates. Between deeply pushing and massaging, between each of the metatarsals, getting the energy moving there in the gates. You know, a lot of lymphatic sludge can hang out in these areas in the feet. So there's nothing like working the gates to give yourself a clear head and to really give your a whole immune system a nice, or the lymphatic system a nice boost. Right, we're gonna finish by twisting, 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 pulling off the baby toe, that's your bladder, the end of bladder meridian, the second ring toe, twisting, 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 and pulling off, that's your gallbladder. The center toe, twisting, 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 and pulling off, related to kidney meridian. Your pointer toe, twisting, 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 pulling off, related to stomach meridian. And the big toe, twisting, pulling and snapping that energy off. You've got liver and spleen. All right, so I'm gonna shake my hands off a little bit. And the next thing that I wanna do, so we've got all of our beginning and end points for all of the meridians are open right now. And believe me, you do not need to know all of your meridians exactly for what we're doing today. I really wanna make this accessible to everybody. And so I'm hoping, so don't worry your head about it too much. If you're just doing it, you're going to be clearing the energy and clearing those pathways for the energy to move through the meridians freely without having to know every single detail. There'll be time for that later. All right, now I want to talk about this area around the torso. We've got two things going on here that we're going to work with. One is the diaphragm. The diaphragm is so important to not only to filling the lungs with oxygen, which all of us need right now as much as we can, but the diaphragm also, if this area is super tight, it's going to impede the flow of the meridian energy as it runs up and down through the torso. So the diaphragm and then the belt flow is the next thing, the thing that we're going to follow this with. So what I'd like to do, I'm going to come up a little bit closer. I like to make a little bit of a tool with my fingers. And you're going to find the bottom of your sternum and drop off of that a little bit. So you're right on your diaphragm. We're just going to do one side at a time. So with my left arm, I am tucking up underneath my rib on my right side. I'm going to use my right hand to add more pressure. So I'm going to take a breath in. And as I exhale, I'm going to really push and massage a little bit down along my rib cage, underneath my rib, and then I'm going to take another breath in. And then as I exhale, I'm going to continue to deeply massage down along underneath the rib. So you're on top of the on top of the diaphragm, underneath the rib. All right, I have gotten almost to the side. I'm going to just let it slide off there, and I'm going to do that same side a second time. So I'm tucking up my fingers underneath there, pushing in with my other hand, taking a breath in, and then with some really good deep pressure, I'm kind of doing circles along underneath my rib. All right, let's do the other side. So my right hand, making that tool, coming up underneath my rib, pushing in with my left hand so I have the additional pressure, taking a breath in, and then pushing in and making little circles as you slowly work your way down along the underneath your lower rib. Let's do that one a second time too. Tucking up underneath that rib with your little tool, breath in, push in and rub, and exhale. Little circles working on the diaphragm, making space for energy to move there in the diaphragm. All right, now we're going to follow that with the diaphragm breath, but I want to say a little something about it first. So the diaphragm breath used to be my least favorite exercise in the Eden method stable of exercises, probably because I wasn't doing it properly. For me, when I was doing the diaphragm release, what was happening was that all of my energy was going up. It was going up into my head. I would get lightheaded. Sometimes it would actually even make me feel anxious. But what I have really learned since then, and this has made the big difference for me, is that when we push out down below in the lower part of our body, the lower Dan Chan, if we're really pushing our belly out, what that does is it engages the abdominal muscles that helps to pull the diaphragm down. And when the diaphragm comes down, oxygen is able to get down into the lower lobe of the lungs. So we've got the lungs really come quite low. They're huge, really. And so then there are two compartments. There's the upper lobe and there's the lower lobe. When we do the diaphragm breath and we really focus rather than this kind of a way, if we really focus our energy in pushing our belly down and out, we're using our abdominal muscles to pull the diaphragm down. That lets the oxygen come down into the lower lobes. Now, the other part that's important about this is exhaling fully, because we really want to get all of that carbon dioxide out of the lungs, all of that old oxygen out of the lungs. So by exhaling fully, that's how we do that. So I'm going to do this sitting down. I encourage you to do it sitting down too, if you're not already. I actually like to put myself on the edge of my chair or whatever I'm sitting on, making a fist with one hand. I don't think it matters which one. Underneath the xiphoid process, so you're right on your diaphragm there. Other hand comes over that. Elbows are tucked in. Now we're going to take a deep breath. We're going to hold the breath at the top. And while we're holding the breath, we're going to push the belly down and out. That's what I want your focus to be on, is pushing your belly down and out until you can't hold your breath anymore, at which point you're going to exhale fully. All right, let's try that together. Deep breath in and pull in and push your belly down and out. Push it. You could almost push it like you're pushing a baby out. And then exhale. Breathe in deep through the nose. Pull in, push your belly down, push your belly down, push your belly down. And exhale. Another deep inhale. One more time, squeeze and push your belly down and out, holding your breath. And then exhale. And just breathe normally for a moment. Fully in, fully out. Nice. All right, the other thing that we want to do to help open the torso area, to facilitate that movement of the rising yin and the descending yang, is to be sure that the belt flow is open. I really like, my favorite method is to take a really firm grip of your waist, take a breath in, and then drag your thumbs and your knuckles forward and snap them off. Do that a few more times. Really get a good squeeze. Breath in Exhale, dragging forward and shake it off. One more time. Really squeeze, breath in. Exhale, dragging forward. Shake it off. Why don't we take our knuckles to the back and just give the Mingmen a nice vigorous rub here. And then with the back of your hands, drag your fingers around your waist and again, shake it off there. Breathing in, dragging, exhaling. All right, now just for good measure, we can do a little bit of the where's my belt, where's my belt? My pants are falling down. Where's my belt? Just tracing around your belt flow. This is one of the radiant circuits. Pants are falling down. One of the radiant circuits is what the belt flow is. And I often see the belt flow in my mind's eye, kind of like northern lights. It has a sheeting effect. And that sheeting effect of the belt flow really helps to facilitate, like I said, that rising yin as it comes up into the torso and the descending yang as it is following down the legs and reaching for the earth. All right, now, since we've really opened the diaphragm, we've got those lungs going, the next thing that I would like to offer is something that I am borrowing from Kundalini Yoga, which is one of my passions. There's so much about breathing in Kundalini Yoga, and I have recently been feeling like that's making a huge difference for me in being able to stay as healthy as I possibly can. Not just healthy, but that my brain is working better, and in fact, my whole body is working better since I have been regularly doing these Kundalini Yoga breathing exercises. So what we're going to do right now, and if you're sitting with your legs in a chair, that's great, or you could also do this sitting Taylor style. I think this is how I'm going to do it, but if you want to have your legs down, by all means, that's perfectly fine. If your legs are down, you want to be kind of on the front of your seat, hands on your thighs. So when we're doing this, we're going to be doing a spinal flexion. I'm going to sit sideways for a moment so you can see what my body is doing with the spinal flexion. My sternum is lifted, my chin is slightly tucked, and I'm going to push my sternum out, and then I'm going to curve so that my sternum comes back. So there's lifting and contracting. So this is what the spinal flexion looks like. But what we're going to do is we're going to use our breath in a different kind of a way. We're going to take a deep breath in, we're going to hold that breath, and we're going to be doing the spinal flexion with our breath held, until we have to let the breath go. So we're going to do that for, I don't know, a minute or so. We'll see how that goes. But just make yourself comfortable and be sure that your shoulders are dropped. You don't want to be pulling your shoulders up while you're doing it. The movement is really about extending your sternum and contracting your sternum, lifting and pulling down. So let's take a deep breath in, and then holding your breath, spinal flex until you feel like you can't hold your breath anymore. Then take a nice deep breath in, hold your breath, and continue to spinal flex. This way, we're really being sure that that oxygen is getting pressured down into that lower lobe. Again, deep inhale, forward and back, also pumping your cerebral spinal fluid. It's hard to talk and hold your breath at the same time. A little bit more. Breath in, hold. And let it go. And let's just breathe normally for a moment. You could go on with that a lot longer than we just did, I feel like this is almost like just taking my supplements every day. This particular exercise feels like it does wonders for oxygenation of my body, particularly combined with deeply massaging in the diaphragm and opening the belt flow, because now I know that I've created a lot of space for energy to move, and one of the things I really want to create space for is oxygen to move in my body. So there's one more Kundalini breathing thing that I want to do. This one looks silly. I don't know if you've got other people in the room with you, if anybody's going to think you're weird. My family's out in the other room, but they already know that I'm weird, so it wouldn't matter. I would do this in front of them anyway. Some of you might be familiar with the lion's pose in yoga. So the lion's pose is that you take your breath in, and as you exhale, you go. But with this one, what we're going to do is we're actually just going to keep the tongue extended out, and then we're going to pant like we are panting like a dog. This is a way to really help clear pathogens from the lungs and from the whole internal system. So we're going to take a breath in through the nose, and then stick your tongue as far out as you can and pant. Keep going. If you have to take a breath in again, you can. Hopefully you're recycling your breath so that you're not running out of breath. Don't hyperventilate, please. A deep breath in through the nose. Hold your breath. Let your shoulders relax. And then exhale. Take another deep breath in. Pause at the top. And exhale. I have to share with you that right now when I do that, it's raining outside. There's a really lovely rain. I do live in Oregon on the west coast of the United States, so rain ought to be a regular thing. It's not so much where I live. But when I take that breath in and I sit in that silence, I can hear the rain, and it really helps me bring me back to myself. So I hope for you that those silences that you take, and I hope you're taking moments to pause in this chaos, and that you can notice what blessing exists in that space. So I just wanted to share that because I noticed the rain and I felt grateful for it. I want to say about that panting breath, you can do that a lot longer than we just did. Another one that's really great for the immune system and for moving pathogens out of the system. So take the time to practice that. When you can go for a good long minute or even a couple of minutes, I think is great. All right, so we've gotten all the meridians open. We've gotten the center area, the midline open. And now what I want to do is a version of tracing the meridians that's not quite as specific. Anybody can do this without having to know specific meridians. And this is, I call this the Yin-Yang Sweep. I learned this from Stephanie Elleringhoff many years ago, and I think it's a great way to help to facilitate that upward flow. Remember earlier I was standing like this. We've got that upward flow of the yin energy moving up through the yin meridians on the yin side, the soft inside of the body. We've got that the energy of the cosmos moving down the back of the body, down the shell side of the body. So I'm actually going to tilt this up a little bit, and I am going to jump right up here onto my massage table or treatment couch for those of you in Europe. And what we're going to do is we're just going to sweep the yin up, and we're going to sweep the yang down. Now, for those of you who are maybe a little bit new to this, my feet are turned out slightly. All of the yin meridians start in here, come up the yin, up the torso, and then they continue out the the soft palm side. The yang meridians are going to start at the back of the hand. They are coming, if you can imagine that they're coming, the body is in this position, and that yang is coming down from the heavens up to the face. We're going to do both sides up to the face. And then from the face, the yang meridians start here and come all the way down the whole body and off of the feet. So what we're going to do is this is starting at the feet, and using your breath is a great idea. Take a breath in, come up the yin up to the torso, come follow the yin out through the palms. Now you turn your hand over, and from the back of your hand, come up along the back of the arm to the neck and over to the face. Other side, back, over the shoulder to the face. Two hands up over the face, over the head, down the back, and off the feet. Coming up again through the yin, up the yin, down and out the palm side, from the armpit to the palm, coming from the back of the fingertips to the neck, to the face, back of the fingertips to the neck, to the face, two hands over the top of the head, down the back, off of the feet, and one more time for good measure, sweeping the yin up, the yin meridians as it reaches for the cosmos, sweeping the energy down from the cosmos through the yang meridians, over the face and down as it seeks to merge with the yin energy in the feet. So that's called the Yin-Yang Sweep. You're following the pathways. You're not getting as super specific, but in essence, it's not in essence, it's still doing what you want to be doing by tracing meridians individually. All right, two more little exercises, then we're going to be finished. This one I really like. It's called the Artemis Stretch. And the Artemis Stretch is especially good for the lung and for the heart and for the pericardium. So these are three yin meridians. The yin energy has risen from the ground. Now it's moving up to meet with the heavens, and it moves along these three meridians on the yin side of the arm. In this posture, we are going to be having one hand that's going to rest over the lung on one side. The other hand is going to be extended. Keep this elbow up. You can imagine yourself to be an archer. Now my body is facing forward. My arms are facing out. My face is turning in that direction. And what I'm going to do is take a nice deep breath in, and then as I exhale, I'm going to imagine, or you could even blow your breath, to imagine energy coming down these yin channels and coming off of the fingertips. So this is another way to really help support moving the energy that might be stuck in the fingertips. Then we're going to switch sides, then we're going to come back together. All right, rubbing hands, shaking them off, hands on the thighs, nice deep breath in. Exhale, feel your feet on the floor. Feel yourself in the present moment. And take a breath in, raising your arms. One arm bends and puts your palm on your lung. The other hand is extended. Your fingers are really a little bit stiff. Take a breath in and exhale. Sending your breath and your awareness down and off those fingertips. Again, breath in. Clearing your lung meridian of grief and your heart meridian of grief. Breathe in. Exhale. And take another breath in. And switch arms. Now you're extending your other arm. Exhale. Breath in. Don't lock your knees while you're doing this. Clearing the channels of this arm, keeping your hand nice and firm. Breath in. Exhale. Now take a breath in and bring both hands to your chest. Let your elbows drop, eyes closed. Place your attention in your hands and bring love and compassion, allowance, forgiveness into your own heart center and into your lungs. And I want to do the final exercise is going to be, I don't know whether to call it 9 hearts or 12 hearts. I think it's 12 hearts. And I think I'm going to stand up on the table again so you can see my whole body. So let's see, I guess I'm going to squat. We're going to start now. That's not working for me. We're going to start with a heart around the face. So take a breath in, sweep a heart around the face coming down to your chest. Take a breath in, sweep a heart around your chest and down to your pubic bone. Take a breath in and sweep a heart up around your hips and down into between your knees. So this is right about, for those of you who are familiar with kidney meridian, you're about at the kidney point behind your knees. Okay, so take a breath in, draw that all up, a heart around your face, a heart around your chest, a heart around your hips. And we're going to bless our thoughts with clarity, bless our feelings with peace, and bless our actions with inspiration. And you can come up into heaven rushing in and imagine all that is there for you. All of your needs are met. Vitality, clarity, peace, healing, whatever need that you have, the solution exists and is there for you to receive. So allow it all to pour in, and then gather it, gather it all into your heart center. And remember, I am, we are, love is. Bless you all. Thank you so much. And please remember that if you would like to take a deeper class, there's a free Eden Energy Medicine class that you can go to. It's freeclass.edenmethod.com. So that's freeclass.edenmethod.com if you want something more in depth, and it's free. So why not take advantage of that? Thank you so much from Ashland, Oregon. I'm wishing you and yours much peace and many blessings.